We can now clearly see what is going on with the process. Neil. Yeah. Bring on Real Madrid. We don't fear anybody other than Manchester City. We don't fear anyone. Don't fear anybody, apparently. We've got the greatest team in the world on the back of 5 straight wins. Yay, look at us. All the goals in the world. Yay. Yay. We're now 5 points behind Liverpool, by the way. They were losing 1-0 at home and then scored 4 in the second half. Cool.
I mean, they played a game more. You can't really criticize Arsenal last night for Liverpool's game being moved forward because the Carabao Cup final.
But don't worry. Heads up onto the next, according to Gabby Jesus. How about sort your knee out, mate? How about that? Instead of waffling on Instagram. Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal Football Club doing up PR stunts again.
Oh.
Second half. We bowled out for the second half. Team huddle, guys. How many times do I have to keep telling you lot, yeah? How many times do I have to keep telling you lot these team huddles are a PR move? How many times? How many times? I called it at half-time or just before the second half kicked off when they're doing that team huddle. They just had 15 minutes in the dressing room. What are you doing the team huddle for? Surely Arteta's letting you, before you go out, oh, yeah, come on, let's go, guys. We've seen it on the All for Nothing. Yeah, we've seen it on the All for Nothing. And then they go out on the pitch, do the team huddle. And I said it when they did that. I said, if we do not win this game, they will post that picture out on a graphic with the scoreline and say, all to play for in the second leg. What did they do? Post that picture out on a graphic with the scoreline, all to play for in N5. When you're part of the Wide Awake Club, and you can see through the PR and the constant narrative that is being peddled, you can actually predict the future. But I'm negative. Oh, you've been waiting for this. No. I haven't been waiting for this at all. I want my team to win, mate. Yeah, I want my team to be successful. I sit here every single day, win, lose, or draw.
That's true. Like, whether people want to criticize Lee or not, win, lose, or draw, he's there. What I love about this is purely from a spectator of fan content. It's what this video is all about. Is this was a couple of days ago.
We can now clearly see what is going on with the process.
To a few days later, PR merchants fuming. Look, and I think he's right to be angry with Arsenal's performance last night. It was not good enough in any way, any shape, or any form, especially from an attacking point of view. They had a lot of the ball. Some would say that's controlling the game. Some disagree, but I don't want to get stuck in the weeds on that. They had a lot of the ball. They just didn't capitalize. I think inexperience shone through from both the manager and players, and that is right to be criticized. But what I find so interesting about a lot of Arsenal fans, it's you win well and oh my God, the process is working. You win badly and the whole world has to come to an end. And I don't know if it's as deep as that, but you may disagree with me. Let me know your comments below, but big up Lee Gunner. I think he's right to be frustrated with this.
We are not gonna do it. This fucking David Raya guy. We are not gonna do it. This David Raya guy. We are not gonna do it. We are not. We will not do it. We will not do it, blood. This David Raya guy, bro. This guy. Oh, my days. What is wrong with this fucking club? What is wrong with you, man? Now you want to shoot. You want to shoot in the 95th minute. You ain't shot for the whole game. And you want to shoot in the 95th minute. You dickheads. You dickheads. You clowns. 95 minutes. You want to shoot. Dickhead.
Listen, I love Troopz.
95 minutes. No shot. Now you want to shoot. You.
It wasn't on target either. That's
Nice.
Look, I get the frustration because I think until that goal, it wasn't a great night for Arsenal, but they got a positive result. They'd go to the Emirates with it at 0-0. Listen, I've been where Troopz is as a Man United fan on so many occasions. One of the best outbursts I've ever seen.
Odegaard world class, they said. They were anonymous. Our captain is awful. I keep telling people this, but he does hair flicks and he says he sings that dirty.
Well, he did turn up in the big game against Burnley at the weekend. Well, he does hair flicks, and what was he about to say?
I keep telling people this, but he does hair flicks and he says he sings that dirty, disgusting song under his breath.
Dirty, disgusting. What dirty, disgusting song?
That sings about crackheads and prostitutes in North London. That's what we walk out to on match days, guys. Go and read the lyrics to that song, and you will find out it's crackheads.
Listen, Lee's brought it up to me before. I've listened to the song, not religiously, because it's an Arsenal song. And yeah, you are right. He does mention brass houses. I think the song mentions crack dens, but it also mentions things like churches and mosques. It also mentions things like old gangsters bickering. It's talking about the reality of proper London, not the tourist London, but proper London. And these things exist. And that although these bad things exist within our environment, I'm from the East End of London, it doesn't mean you don't love where you're from. Some people, anyway, some people do. Lee, listen, I love Lee to bits, but it's like when you listen to lots of different genres of music from lots of different parts of the world, there are parts of the songs that aren't particularly nice. Doesn't mean you're classless for liking it. I think it's understanding and representing it. People from North London. Lee's obviously not from North London, as far as I'm aware. Milton Keynes, I think. He might have been born in North London, I'm not sure. But that's why they get it. I don't think it's a dirty song, but what do you all think? Should Arsenal Football Club be walking out to a song with the lyrics in it that I think it's called The Angel has? Let me know in the comments section below.
Yeah, it was very frustrating, but the whole game was frustrating. I thought that final goal summed up the whole 90 minutes or 94 minutes as we saw. You had a team, and when you looked at the way that Porto play, they normally have a high press, they go for it, they're playing in a lower standard of football. And I suppose it was, or should have been quite obvious, that they weren't going to play the same way against Arsenal. And they didn't. Their manager's well experienced, and he played tactically exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But then the other side of it is, I think the referee fell into the trap of just being conned every single time that Arsenal went near the ball. The Porto players just throw themselves to the floor. I mean, there was one incident on a corner when the Porto goalkeeper, with no one around him, just threw himself on the floor. Now, I'm not a referee, but my understanding of the game is that's ungentlemanly conduct. Therefore, you have a free kick, an indirect free kick, can't quite be on the line because the offence is on the line, so it gets 10 yards back. Should have had a free kick.
Well, the ref. I think you're right to bring up the referee, but you heard Lee there just towards the end. There, the league is completely different.
I will say this. The referee wasn't great, but this is Arsenal naivety is in the players on the pitch. You know what's going to happen in Europe. So don't allow those situations to manifest themselves. You cannot be as physical in a European game as you can in a Premier League game. That's been the case forever. And the physicality has been taken a lot out of the Premier League in recent years, but it's always been the same. You have to change the way you approach football matches from a physical standpoint because it doesn't wash the way we play in England. You're going to get blown up every 5 seconds.
Different to the Champions League. You mentioned Burnley. We've seen the form of Arsenal so far in the league. Nothing like Burnley today. Porto seemed like they had our numbers. They got their tactics spot on.
Well, it was exactly like Burnley.
Why?
Burnley under Sean Dyche. It was a performance by Porto. They weren't.
This is the thing I'd say again. I understand that, but that should be a criticism of your own team. And it should be a criticism of your own team because you then change your approach. For instance, what could have been done is Arsenal give up possession, give the ball to Porto, invite Porto onto you, absorb them, draw them out, leave space in behind and counter-attack into it. There were options for things for Arsenal to do. You didn't need to win per se, you had to avoid losing. And all they were waiting for is for you to expose yourselves to counter-attack you. So again, I understand it's frustrating, but this is where you've got to learn to circumnavigate the Champions League. It's very, very different in so many ways to the Premier League.
1-0 to Porto in their first leg tie in the Champions League. And unfortunately, they're going to have to take their medicine on this. Having scored so many goals in the Premier League in recent weeks, they misfired. And ultimately, I think you've got to say boring Arsenal. Look, I don't know what it is. I think Arsenal are capable of this. They're capable of winning 4 or 5-0 as well. It's a cracking goal from Porto to win it in stoppage time. But the same guy who scores that goal missed 2 sitters in the first half. Incredibly, I can't work the maths out on this, but Arsenal had no shots on target, but had 10 corners. How does that work? How do you have 10 corners and no shots on target? Surely a corner, at least 5 of those would come from shots on target where the keeper tips it out. So that's an amazing stat, but it's a damning stat for Arsenal as well. Personally, I think what they've gone, they can turn it around in the second half, in the second leg. Of course they could. Interestingly, we were talking about the away goals rule, and I think that it's a 50-50 thing, is it? Is the Champions League better with away goals or worse? And I think that if away goals were there, Arsenal would be more attacking in the away leg. And what they've actually done here, and we've seen a few teams do it, if you draw in the away leg, it becomes redundant. It doesn't mean anything because it becomes a one-legged shootout and you're at home. And I think Arsenal have gone into this game, and I think Arteta's gone into this game, and they've basically said, let's not do anything stupid. We don't need to open the game up. Let's just keep hold of the ball. Let's be careful with the ball. If we nick a goal, take it back to the Emirates, we're comfortable. But all we've got to do is not lose, really. Let's not be too expansive. Let's not open ourselves too much. It's an away ground. And they've cleared.
Do you agree with Goldbridge there on Arsenal? Do you think that Arsenal sort of purposefully didn't attack? Do you think that Arsenal just tried to play for a draw? Did they play to avoid defeat? I'd love to understand your view on that. I'd love to understand your perspective. I think personally, I don't think it was Arsenal being boring. I don't think they didn't try to score goals. They were attacking for the large percentage of the game. They just couldn't break down a very resolute, very well drilled, very rigid Porto team. And when they did, there would be last-ditch tackles, not so much saves. Set pieces, which have been amazing for Arsenal all year, were just very easily handled by either the defenders or by Costa in goal. And I think that for me, from the outside looking in, it was more to do with them being naive in the game and maybe to a degree being too attacking. Maybe they should have handed the ball over, sat back a little bit, invited them out, as I've already said. Or do you agree with Mark Goldbridge? I think he's wrong on this one when it comes to Arsenal. I think there's a little bit of Goldbridge's kind of Arsenal hate kind of creeping out, as it were. But you may disagree. You may think that Mark's absolutely spot on, and this was just Arsenal being too pragmatic, too negative, too boring, and not wanting to lose. I'd love to get your take on that in the comments section below. But as ever, look, I appreciate all of the content creators out there. Make sure, whether it's That Football, United Stand, League Gunner, Troopz TV, AFTV, go and check out their channels. Go and make sure you're subscribing to them and supporting them. It's really, really important that you do. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all soon. Peace.